we have some inspiring stories. And today is no different. We really do have two amazing stories that most of our viewers have not heard before. And to kickstart, we will have the first one all the way from New Zealand. And it's way past midnight right now in New Zealand. So we have a very special guest, and she's kind enough to stay up late to share her amazing journey with us. Before I introduce her, I would like to say that, in this live stream, we'll be sharing some photos, and viewer discretion is needed. So yeah, we're going to be talking to Donna, and she is very, very grateful, I would say. That's why she's here, to share her story with us, so that, who knows? I mean, those of you who are watching may have a similar situation like hers, and it may help you. So can we welcome Donna? Hi, Donna. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Yes, I'm well. Yes,
Yeah, well, it's a little bit early for you, I would say. I wouldn't say late. So it's, I think, very early, past midnight for you.
Yeah, we're Monday morning now.
That's the beauty of being in New Zealand, right? You're the first ones, kind of to see the sunrise, isn't it, every day?
That's right.
And, yeah, well, you have an amazing, I would say, touching story of your life. And thank you so much for coming forward to share this with us. It's kind of personal, I know, and also with the photographs that you have shared, which I'm going to share later on with our viewers. Yeah, tell us about what happened or what was diagnosed to you 12 to 13 years ago.
Yes, I'm a nurse, and I'm a naturopath as well. And I was working in the hospital, and I got the spot that just wouldn't go away. And I spoke to one of the plastic surgeons one day, because I used to work in recovery. And I said, "What do you think, Winston?" And he said, "Oh, I think we need to cut that off." And so I'd been trying everything. This was like probably 13 odd years ago.
Yeah,
and it was
before he said he was going to cut it off for you, I mean, did he kind of like diagnose and told you that it was carcinoma? I mean, what was it?
He said it looked very much like a skin cancer. And so he had a private room. So I went along to the private rooms, and he took a little sample first, and he said, "Come back." And I think it was a week later, he called me back in and said, "Yeah, we're going to do surgery." And he discussed doing a big flap surgery.
Right.
And at the time, because I was a nurse and I'd worked in recovery and I knew about theatre and what they did, I was quite horrified. And so I said to him, "Look, I don't want to go under anaesthetic. I don't want to have a general anaesthetic. I want to have it local." And he was like, "That's not such a good idea." And I said, "Look, I don't do well with anaesthetics. I'm very, very sick afterwards." So he explained what he was going to do, and because some flap surgeries, they end up having like a big pedicle where they take skin from down there and they attach it to there, and they have to, it has to grow, and then they take that off.
It's a skin graft, right? I mean,
yeah. So those are my options. So, and I said, "Look, I don't want a big pedicle because that's, a lot of time off work and it's horrible." So he agreed to take a little piece of skin from here, just in front of my nose, and he took the end of my nose off, and we put that piece of skin.
Can I share your photo so that people can
absolutely
get a view and see it for themselves? Like I said, you need to exercise viewers' discretion from here on. Yeah. All right, guys. Okay, here we go. So this So it's okay. So this was 11 years ago. Yes. I call it skin graft. You may call it differently, but they took a piece of your skin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a flap. And it's a flap surgery, so they have to keep making sure that I've got circulation underneath, otherwise that piece will die.
Yeah.
So it's a skin graft, but it's also called a flap surgery. So I wasn't allowed to put my head down and things like that. I had to be really, really careful with it.
So that went well, right? I mean, it healed pretty well.
Extremely well. My surgeon was absolutely thrilled, and he
Mhm.
kept coming up to me and saying, let's have a look at this, and because I'd healed so well and you could hardly see any scars. So he took lots of photos, and he used my photos for his other clients to say, especially women who are quite self-conscious about scars.
Absolutely. Definitely, yes.
So he took that, and I said to him when I was at work, look, if anyone wants to come and see me that's going for surgery, I'm more than happy to go through what I went through and to show them that it's actually not really scarred that bad.
You're such a gracious person. That's why you're here today, to share your experience. And
So
a few years later, right, if I may, just to go on, a few years after that skin graft, the nasty thing came back, isn't it?
Yeah, just on the crease of my nose there, another one appeared. And when I had my flat surgery, they said, oh, we've got the whole lot. We've got all the margins.
Yeah.
But then a little sneaky one arrived in the crease of my nose there. So once again, I battled with it. And then I realized that I was going to have to, I didn't want another surgery because of the other flat surgery.
So when you said you battled with it, I mean, you showed me a while ago a basket beside you.
Yeah,
You kind of have like almost everything that you have used as some, in your journey. You have used almost anything and everything that you believe in, right? Tell us about it.
And then I went back. Well, I saw the surgeon actually at work, and I said, I've got this other one here, and he said, oh, we'll just use some chemotherapy, some it's a 5FU. It's a specific chemotherapy cream on that, and I didn't want to use that because it's chemotherapy and it will still go into my system. But the fact is, I've seen other people use these chemotherapy creams and come out with terrible reaction, and I thought that'll be me because I've got very, very sensitive skin. So I actually did a bit of research, and I ordered some bloodroot from Ecuador.
Right.
And so I used bloodroot, which is, it burns it. And it's not for the faint-hearted either. It's very painful. So the first time I did it, it fell off, the little isha fell off within 2 days. And then I realized I had to do it again because I could see that there was still more there. So I did it a second time, and then it healed.
The second time, this was the one that something came off, right?
This is the second time. Well, the first time something came off as well, but this is the second time, and I could see there was like roots in that. And when I did it the second time, it was like a 9 out of 10 pain. It was my whole face swelled up. I was basically lying on the sofa for a couple of days, just not wanting to do anything with myself. I was in so much pain.
9 out of 10.
And it's, and I thought, God, I don't ever want to do this again. So it was really, really painful. And then, of course, it healed up beautifully. And then, of course, we had this other one erupt just above it. And it's very close, as you can see, it's very close to the flap surgery. So I didn't want to burn that one. So this was the one that's probably caused me the most hassle because I've tried everything.
And then when you started with the iTeraCare device, that was in June, right? The first one.
That's right. 4th of June I started, and I just couldn't believe how it was just rapidly healing.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I was just so excited. And then when it first started, it was very, very painful. As I said, my skin was very sensitive, and I was putting different things on it, and it would react, and it got to a point where it was so sore that I couldn't touch it. It would bleed. And that's when I started wanting it. And I was so thrilled because it's when I first started wanting it, it was so sore that I could only do it for like seconds. And then after wanding it for a couple of days, all that pain went, and I could wander it for a minute.
So
And
you felt the pain, so you started kind of slow, and then you
yes,
increased
yeah,
the
and
time
it
as you went on. Yeah.
yeah, when I first started wandering it, it was very hot, and I couldn't bear because my skin was so sensitive, I couldn't bear the heat on it. But then after a couple of days, all that pain went, and the redness went. And then I thought I'll be clever and put some stuff on it, and then you can see the reaction in July.
Yes.
And
It didn't like it very much.
it
Once
didn't
you
like
put,
it.
yeah.
But with the wanding, all this stuff started coming out of it. It erupted. And those are when I sent those photos to you.
I know.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, what do I do? So
Yeah, I know.
it wasn't sore. So what I actually did is, I haven't got it in my little basket.
Yeah.
But when I did the bloodroot, I used paste the first couple of times. And this time now, I thought, well, I'm not going to use the paste on it. So I just used a little bit of the liquid that the paste was sitting in. So it wasn't actually the bloodroot, but it was just sort of like the liquid. So I very, very gently, there was one tiny little spot, and I put, the rest of it was healing, and then I put a little bit of bloodroot on it, and within 2 days it was healed. It was like it was healing. All this stuff dried up, and then I was wanding it. And
So I mean, a bloodroot worked for you the first time, the second time, and the third time as well. And
yes,
when you added other stuff, that's where your body is
that's
telling
right.
you we don't like it, and that's
And I
where.
also started some vidafy turmeric drops as well, and that got rid of a lot of the inflammation in my nose as well, I think, because it's got vitamin D and things like that in it. So I think it's a combo of all of them.
Yeah, and
But
then
now,
look at it now.
and I know, and my skin is probably, it's glowing. I mean, probably not
Yeah,
tonight because it's
your
like,
skin is glowing. It's not just the nose, the
no,
affected
that's
area, but
right.
the entire. Yeah. So something must have gone right is this time.
Yes. And I don't know whether you can, probably a bit hard to see, but I'll come right up close, but you can see
Hang
for
on.
anyone who's,
Let me remove myself so that we can only see you. Yes.
but any doubters, there's nothing there.
I know.
Yeah.
But Donna, I mean, no matter how honest you may be, there will still be a lot of people who
Yeah.
probably will be like in disbelief, but to see is to believe. Well, to believe is to see. I don't know, whichever comes first. But
Well,
what happened to you? And I was, I wouldn't say privileged, but I was there with you for the last few weeks. And when it got worse, I'm like, maybe you should stop using all this other stuff because your skin doesn't like those stuff. And then it
yeah.
got better, and you built
Yeah.
on that energy that you are getting better. And you send me photos, and oh yes, it's drying up. It's it's
It
healing.
was,
And
it's
yeah,
so nice to have my nose back again, because for so long I've had this thing on my nose and I'm very self-conscious of it. And sometimes I'd had to put a little plaster on it and then sort of disguise it, but it's still there. And children would come up to me and say, "What's wrong with your nose?"
I know. I
And
know.
but you'd know that even though people wouldn't say anything, immediately they would look straight at your nose.
Yeah. And you're just self-conscious about it. And the
Yeah,
discomfort and the pain and the worry of what next, So I have to thank
yeah,
you because you have
yeah,
really inspired me and you've inspired a lot of our viewers out
yeah.
there. And Donna, you are a very brave woman in this wonderful journey of yours. And everything happens for a reason. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think, well, I'll still be monitoring, make sure that I'm still wanding. I put wanded water on it every day. I drink the wanded water. I do the protocol every day, twice a day. And I think you just have to be disciplined as well, because sometimes we start these things and then we think, oh, it's not working, but you do have to persevere and just carry on. And if it's been there a long time or you've got a problem, it's not going to be an overnight thing. Sometimes, it may be 3 months, 6 months, a year, but just carry on. That's what I say to people.
yeah, I totally agree with you. In other words, you have to believe for it to work. I
Yep.
totally resonate with your thinking. And I'm so happy to see what I'm
Oh,
seeing.
I'm thrilled.
I'm so happy.
I'm
So
thrilled that I've got my face back.
you should put a magnifying glass for all those people who are skeptical. But anyway,
Yeah, well,
Donna,
it's a bit, yeah, I take photos, but it's a little bit
I
hard
know,
with
Donna,
cameras and
it's
that sort of
okay.
thing.
I know at the frequency group chat, there's what 75,000 people kind of thing, and you get all kinds of you know people
Yeah,
commenting, right? But at the end of the day, you have healed, and
that's right.
that's it.
Yeah, that's
So
lovely. So thank you.
thank you so much, Donna, and may you continue to glow. All right, as you
Yeah,
continue to use this.
absolutely.
All right, thank you, and good night to you.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Wow, amazing. So touched by that story, and really something that if you believe, then it will happen, right? So, yes, we have our next guest all the way from the Philippines, and her name is Maria. And Maria's story is interesting as well because it's nothing that we have covered until now. And please welcome Maria from the Philippines. Hi, Maria. How are you? Kamusta?
Hello, I'm good.
Okay. Well, your story is, tell us about your story. What happened to you? All right.
Yeah, yes. Good day to everyone. Good night, good evening, good morning to everyone in the world. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Ang, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with iTeraCare. It's really unbelievable, and I myself cannot believe it the first time when it
Yeah.
happened to me.
Yours is a
Well,
little bit unusual, very unusual story, but yeah, please tell us.
yeah. Okay. So on one fateful lunchtime, a fish bone was stuck in my throat.
A
Okay.
fish bone, yeah.
So our viand that time was sarsiado. Do you know sarsiado?
Yeah.
Sarsiado is a dish here in the Philippines, which
Mhm.
features tomatoes and eggs. So the name sarsiado in the Tagalog language means cooked with thick sauce. So you fry the fish and then put it in the thick
Yes.
sauce. Okay. So the fish was dalagang bukid. If you know dalagang bukid.
Yeah.
The dalagang bukid is a kind of fish which is in English yellow tail fusilier fish. So we have a lesson. Okay. So actually I did try to chew my food thoroughly because I already had a phobia with fish. Actually, this is not the first time that I experienced this one. It
Mhm.
is my third time. The first time was when I was still single in the 80s. And then second time during before the pandemic, when we arrived here in the Philippines.
Mhm.
Now, a segue, for those who have been in Europe, you know, when you order a whole fish, they're the one who will debone the fish, right?
Yes.
So you just have to eat the meat and enjoy the food. But of course, here in the Philippines, we do it ourselves.
So
Now,
when it happened the
unfortunately,
third time, the pain you were feeling, the inflammation, the
yeah.
discomfort, you
So
wanted to go to the
unfortunately,
hospital, right? You were
yeah,
planning
I
to go
was
to the
about
hospital.
to go to the hospital because it was already very painful, and I tried to swallow some chunks of banana to remove the bones, but to no avail. So I decided I'm going to the hospital and have it removed. However, before leaving the house, I thought of my wand. So I said, I just let me wand it first. So I wanded it for about 10 minutes and then I left home. Then on my way, I
Mhm.
tried to swallow again my saliva. And to my surprise, the pain was about below 50% already, like 30%, the pain. And then I could feel that the bone was not there anymore.
Wow.
Because, you know, I termed it the fish thorn because you could feel the pricking sensation
Wow,
and
sakit.
it's just
Mhm.
unbearable already. So after the wanding, I noticed that there's no more pain. The pain was already around 30%, and then the fish bone was not there anymore. So I
Yeah.
said,
Mm.
oh my gosh, even kahit ba naman yung tinik in English, even
Yeah.
the fish bone, the iTeraCare did not failed to address it. So
Wow.
my
That's
driver
why
heard me.
it's a very unusual story because
Yeah,
a fishbone
yes.
and you blow and it kind of like melted the fishbone, or I don't know what
I
happened,
don't
right?
know. Yeah, the in the community they were asking me what happened to the bone. I really don't know. What I know that the pain was no more. It was reduced, and then the fish bone, I could feel that it's not there anymore because when I swallow my food, it's not. There's no pricking pain
Mm.
anymore.
Wow. And
So
you know, I'm so happy for you. I mean, to you know, to have the the device to work that way for you, which has never been tried before.
yes,
And you also mentioned to me a story during COVID lockdown, and something happened to someone, and you use it. Someone had dengue and was
yes,
rushing to the hospital, but at that time, I mean, most hospitals will not admit you because their beds were full, right?
yeah,
Tell us
yeah.
about that story.
Yeah, actually, it's like this. We were surprised that my nephew was spitting blood, and it's coming from his what do you call this? From
Nostrils?
his gum.
Mm.
So when we brought him to the hospital, it was diagnosed that he has dengue, and the platelet was already 10. So we told them that we will confine him there in that hospital, but they did not agree because they don't have the blood bank. So they told us now you bring him to big hospital so that they could infuse some blood to him. Now, before before my nephew left for Manila to look for big hospitals, I wanted his back for about 15 to 20 minutes. I wanted it and then they left. So imagine they went to around 7 hospitals, but nobody um accepted them. So
Yeah.
when the morning came, so they decided to just go home. But then they tried to go to one of the hospital here in Cavite,
Mhm.
and to our surprise, she was the result was okay. There's no
Mhm.
more danger. It's already normal. Then his
Wow.
blood, the platelet was already normal, and everything was normal. And Oh my gosh, imagine you
Hey.
have to go everywhere and you are because we were wandering the whole night. They were going around. My nephew was in perfect shape.
Wow.
It's not feeling anything.
Exactly.
But the
He went to 7 hospitals,
yes,
and each one of
PGH
them
and other big
rejected him. Yeah,
hospitals. No,
I know.
there's no room, and they
Mm.
cannot be confined.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's why
Wow.
I am really very, very grateful for this. He saved my nephew. He
Yeah.
saved me from my
Your throat,
throat.
yeah. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Maria, for
That's
sharing
why
this.
I was
Amazing.
telling people, for every aches and pains, you have to use iTeraCare first. This is our first aid.
Yes.
This is
So
our emergency aid in the
every home
house.
should have one, right? I mean,
Yes,
so
that's
that the next
true.
fish bone that got caught, you can just blow.
Just blow it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no
amazing.
harm in trying. Just do it because you can never tell what will happen.
Whatever
And
problems
it's
you have,
always for the good. You just
yeah,
believe it.
24/7,
That-
whatever it is, just blow, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maria, for
Thank
sharing this
you. Thank you so
amazing
much for
story.
this opportunity.
And God bless. Thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Wow. So we have 2 interesting stories. And, to me, each story is important to the person who is affected with that particular condition. So nothing is too small, nothing is too big. Depends on who is watching. Now, if you're watching this and the stories here you can relate to, give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next week. Bye.
Medical disclaimers. iTera Classic and iTera Pro are not medical devices. The information provided on our website is for educational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult a medical professional or healthcare provider if you are seeking medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment. Prife International shall not be liable for risks or issues associated with using or acting upon the information on our website. Prife International shall not be liable or responsible for the actions, misrepresentations, or negligence of our members who are independent contractors.